I'm just going to sit here and do some skincare while we just do a wee chit chat about some makeup. I'm just having one of those days where I can't bother to put any makeup on or do a makeup tutorial. But these are basically products that I have went through this year so far, but they're products that I wouldn't repurchase. I've already done one of these videos, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I'll link it down below if you're interested. And it was all the makeup products I've went through this year so far that I would repurchase. So it was like basically like favourites and stuff. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base from Bobbi Brown. And you can tell that I have scraped this clean, actually. Do you know something? This is nice and it's very widely popular, but I just, for the price point, I just would not repurchase this. Don't get me wrong, it was very nice on the skin. It was just like a really rich, creamy moisturiser for me. And it wasn't really too thick or too overly heavy on the skin. It was just a nice prep and base prior to makeup application. But I just feel like for the price point and what the product actually does, no, I don't really feel like it's worth it, because I have other primers from more affordable brands that will prep my skin the same way and make my skin look the same way and have my makeup looking the same way. And then it's the same with the NYX Honey G Me Up primer. I feel like I bought this because I was just sucked in and I was influenced into buying this because of the whole, you know, the wee gold flecks in it, and the packaging was quite different and just like the slimy feel of it. Just found that this done really nothing for me. And this is the Be Perfect Cosmetics Full Impact Concealer. I just didn't like this concealer. As you can see, I have went through it. And I did use this to carve out my brows and act as a bit of a base for my eyelids. But on the under eyes, this just unfortunately didn't work for me. I just found that it creased far too much on me and it just didn't sit well. Don't get me wrong, I like the formula in terms of how it looked and how it blended and the finish of the concealer, but just as time went on and even through setting my skin, my under eyes, I found that this just creased quite a lot on me. And it wasn't to say that the formula of it was quite thick, because it's not. It's nearly like, just like your normal formulation of concealer, you know, like a serum like concealer, but it did not like my under eyes at all. It did not sit well whatsoever, and I've never really had a lot of issues or problems with creasing with concealers, especially after setting and powdering. But no, it just didn't work well with me and my under eyes. But to carve out my brows, it was fine. And I have two loose powders. This one from NARS, the Light Reflecting Powder, it's in the shade Crystal. And then the H&B Cosmetics Soft Focused Loose Powder in the shade 02 Translucent. I just find that these powders were just very dry on me. I haven't even went through the one from NARS, because you know what, it was actually that bad. This one was actually worse than this one. This one was bearable, it was dealable, but it just didn't. I looked very, very crepey and dry on my under eyes. I nearly looked aged. The only way I can describe this as well is, you know, the HD powders you used to get years ago, and they were just so finely milled. Oh, this is the formula. And then another powder, this is from Urban Decay, and this is the Stay Naked The Fix. I think is this a foundation powder? Oh yes, it's a foundation powder. So I actually just used this to set my under eyes, so I did. And it's in the shade 10NN. I've got like just like the tiniest wee bit left in it because I ended up just smashing it to bits. And I liked everything about it, to how it looked, how it set, how it wore, the finish, everything about it. But the only reason I wouldn't repurchase this is because of the price. Obviously it's Urban Decay, it's not exactly luxury, but it's more of a high-end price point. But I just feel like in my collection and just in general, there's so many more affordable setting powders that do the exact same thing. Like the Maybelline one, or there's one that I use from Poundland. And they do the same thing. They do the same thing. I can barely read this packaging. This is the Milk Pore Eclipse Matte Setting Spray. So again, I feel like I maybe need to clarify that I'm not going to not repurchase this because of the formula, but it's just because of my skin type. So it's obviously just personal preference here, because obviously I have dry to normal skin. I don't necessarily need or want or gravitate towards a mattifying setting spray. So Pink Honey Wonder Whip Brow Pencil. Now I actually have another one of these to get through because I bought two of them, and I just find that they were too waxy. And here's the thing, here's what I found comical. I use the Pink Honey brow glue. That is my go-to brow glue. I love it. And this is obviously the Pink Honey brow pencil. This did not want to go over the brow glue. It just, I felt like I was scraping and scraping and scraping and scraping to actually get payoff or pigment with this over the brow glue that I had already laid down on my brows. It was the strangest thing. You would think that if you're going to create a product, right, that you're going to want these two products to work along with each other. Is there a tiny wee bit left? But no, like it was just, can you see? You see the way like that's, like you see how stiff this is? And sometimes, especially in the front of my brows, I don't like to be pressing too hard or have too much pigment there. So it's just, it's so hard to create like wee faux subtle wee hairs. And also this is like quite a micro fine wee tip, which I obviously love. But you see, because you have to apply such hard pressure, you're not able to achieve a thin enough wee brow stroke. Does that make sense? This is the Ciate Wonderland mascara. I didn't mind this. I really didn't mind it. I loved the wand. You see this big fat chunky hourglass wand? Love it. But it was just, it was alright. It done what I wanted. It done what it claimed to do. But I have my other favourites, and like it was nice. It was nice to try it, but I don't think I would actually ever repurchase it. This is the NARS Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Orgasm. Again, I didn't mind this, but I didn't like the fact that it had a tint to it. There's the tiniest, like, try to scrape a wee bit here. I'm not too sure if you'll be able to see that or not. Probably not. There's this like the tiniest wee slither of tint to it, but I didn't like the tint because I feel like, you see, whenever I'm applying or using lip balms like this, I'm kind of a wee bit crazy. I don't necessarily like to stay within the lines of my lips, so I'm just kind of, you know, going just willy-nilly. But because it has the tint, I find that I was getting the tint the whole way around my mouth, and I looked as if I had like some sort of disease. It wasn't cute. So I actually only kept this for nighttime. For whenever I was going to bed, or if I was just chilling in the house, not going anywhere, I would have just not really caring to stay within the lines because it creates and has a tint. Oh, sometimes I genuinely did look a wee bit crazy because of it. And then surprisingly, this is the Vive Skin Dew. Now, in my previous video with one of these, where it was the products that I've went through that I would repurchase, I mentioned so many Vive products, and especially the, is it the Nova Glow or the Nova Lights? It's basically like the liquid highlighter that has the doe foot applicator. It's in the same packaging as the concealer. But this, so did I buy one of these? So I bought this one, and then they sent me another one of these within a PR package, which is fine. You know, like I'll definitely use it. Like as you can see, I went through this one, but it just, oh, I don't really want to get makeup all over my t-shirt. But this was just all right. I feel like I don't really do well with liquid highlighters or anything, so I'm very fussy when it comes to the formula and how they actually feel, look and wear on the skin. And I feel like with this one, so basically the difference I feel between this one and the Nova Lights or Nova Glow, sorry, I can't actually remember what it's called. I think it's called Nova Glow. This one I feel keeps its tack and keeps its stick. It's very glossy and juicy, and there's definitely a stick and a tack to this, and I don't like that. I feel like that's just, you're asking for your makeup to be lifted while wearing this and just feel, I don't know, just sticky. And I don't like my base to feel sticky at all. Whereas I feel with the Nova Glow, if you really work that in, that is going to not only dry down but just stay beautiful in your skin, not lift up any of your underlying product, and just not have any stickiness to it. But this nearly feels like a lip product, like something you'd put on your lips, you know, like that sticky, glossy, oh horrible, ew, you know, like a lip gloss. This is literally what it feels like. And I just, that feeling, it's nearly like a sensory issue with me, but that feeling of stickiness on my face is just, no, to me it's just not pleasant. And I don't know, I feel like you don't really get much of a glow with this. You get the slightest wee bit of something if you squint hard enough, but that was it, guys. I thank you so much for watching. I know this was short and sweet. I do apologise about the lack of videos and tutorials this week. It's been Kyle's birthday and we've just had a couple of days off. We've been doing this, doing that, and I will hopefully do a tutorial for you tomorrow. But other than that, I'll see you in my next one.